Yes, hello, my fans, my followers, influencers. I greet you all wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I trust that you are blessed, you are safe, you're doing great in all your respective places. Yes, this is Garang Luald. I'm here to talk to you about another essential, interesting, inspiring topic that I believe is going to inspire, educate, and motivate you all. And I trust that you guys have been blessed, have been inspired, encouraged by my latest subject, topic, episode about family, love, and marriage relationship that we have discussed previously. It was a very huge subject that was divided into 3 parts. Yes, and it was very complex, but it was essential. Today we're going to discuss about something very new, and it is something called mentoring and coaching process. Okay. It's something that I thought very hard about, that mentoring and coaching, it's is a need, it is a requirement. People need mentoring and coaching in various aspects of life. So I thought I would share it with my fans, followers, and influencers, so that it can ignite and trigger some thoughts and think about mentoring and coaching. Whether you need mentoring, whether you have some people that require mentoring and coaching in your life, and what does it mean to mentor and coach somebody, and why is it required that people must be mentored and be coached, and we're going to discuss in a few minutes. So mentoring and coaching, as we all know it, it is to teach, to train, to disciple someone who is young, someone who is junior, immature, and unskilled about basic fundamental skills of life and survival. This is further is highlighted by the author, who stated that mentoring relationships are dynamic and reciprocal personal and professional relationship in which a more experienced person, a mentor, acts as a guide, a role model, a teacher, or a sponsor of a less experienced person. This is quote by Johnson and Ridley, 2008. Furthermore, coaching and mentoring, according to Wikipedia, is a form of development in which an experienced person, called a coach, supports a learner or a client in achieving a specific personal or professional goal by providing them with training and guidance. Wikipedia report 2024. Mentoring or mentorship, it is to patronage, to influence, to guide, to direct, or a direction given by a mentor to a mentoree or protege, It is also to teach someone or give someone counseling or an advice to a less experienced or a young person. So mentoring and coaching definitions are so many, and there's so many. For example, in an organization setting, a mentor, that is a coach, influences the personal and professional growth of a mentee or protege. Most traditional mentorship involves having a senior employees, that is, mentor or train a junior employee. But mentor or a coach does not necessarily have to be a senior. As long as the person is more experienced, they can have the ability or the capacity to train or to mentor or to teach someone who is less experienced or immature. So that was the brief definition of mentorship and coaching. Mentorship and coaching is a process that begins when the person is born to the world. This is when a person is born. In my opinion, mentoring, coaching, training, teaching, education begins when a person is a child. The parents or the family take the responsibility and the duty of raising and caring for the child in order to become a full-grown adult and responsible. Because humans and people generally are very unique and special creatures. Unlike other species, like animals, they do not just grow up, but they must learn, they must acquire some certain and necessary survival skills and abilities. They must develop some talents and gifts. They must gain some knowledge in order to progress, to succeed, to thrive and in life and society. Human beings, they are not like animals. They're unique. If you're familiar with the Bible, there is a scripture in the Bible that says that people, human beings, are created in the image of God and likeness of God. Why? Because they have some features, some characteristics that resembles God, the Creator, including communication, the ability to communicate, the ability to sympathize, to have compassion, to love, the ability to think rationally, intuition, all this, the ability to imagine, to create, to be creative, all this, the ability to speak, all these features, they have been created within human beings. Unlike animals, they have limited abilities. So, because of that, they have the ability to be trained and to be mentored and to be coached, to learn some critical skills and to gain some knowledge and ability in order to succeed, to progress, and to thrive in life. Parents and the child immediate family in my opinion, are considered able and qualified mentors to help the person learn everything they must learn and acquire in order to live and to prosper in early life. So families, parents, there is no parents or family that actually, or there's no child that is just born and left without training, without being trained or be mentored in order to be able to speak, to walk, to learn some critical survival skills. Otherwise, that child, will not be able to live up to their potential. So they must be trained, they must be guided. So mentoring and coaching can be formal or informal. It can also be quick or slow process. It can result in a successful or a failure outcome. And finally, mentoring and coaching can be either positive or negative based on several factors. And we shall see later. So informal mentoring and coaching process, it is what we just talked about. It is informal, involve both parents mentoring and teaching and training their children about what they need to know and to learn in order to live, to succeed, and to prosper in life. This is informal. A father, for example, teaching or training their son or a boy about what they need to know and learn about adulthood, manhood, and fatherhood. Or a mother teaching and training their daughter and a young girl what they need to know about adulthood, womanhood, and motherhood. So mentoring and coaching is start at home, with parents, both parents, a mother and a father, training and teaching and mentoring their kids, about what they need to know in order to live up to their potential. So a father, for example, will begin to teach his son, the boy, what they need to know about manhood, about adulthood, and about fatherhood. This is a basic training and teaching, and we all understand it. And then it can go even more than that. Same way, the woman, a mother can train their daughter or their little girl what they need to know about adulthood, womanhood, and a motherhood. We all know when we were young, our parents, teach us what we need to know about our gender identity. So that's what is basically happened when we were young, and it's a formal part of mentoring and coaching. The informal mentoring process can be extended to include other family members such as uncles, aunts, grandparents, when necessary and possible, to teach and train the young generation some certain knowledge, wisdom, and critical skills and abilities they need to succeed. And it's not only parents, a father and a mother, but mentoring and training can be extended to other members of the family, such as relatives, uncles and aunties, and grandparents. Especially in some part of Africa, because there is a proverb that I usually hear that it takes a village to raise a child. They say that because in Africa, in Asia, in some part of the world, especially, I don't know if it's still exists, but back in the days, any adult can actually discipline, can teach, and can mentor a young person because they take it as their child, you know, and it's a positive attribute that is found back then. So informal mentoring can be extended to other family members apart from a mother and a father, to include extended families. In relation to informal mentoring and coaching relationship, people do not have to choose their mentors because every child is born to a parent or adopted to a family where they do not have a choice until they become adult. Informal mentoring, of course, is happen automatically when you are born to a family or adopted to a family. You basically receive their training and their mentoring when you are young until you become an adult, and after that you can choose your own destiny, but as long as you are still under their guardians, under their care, and they are responsible for mentoring and training and disciplining you until you become an adult. For example, when people are born to a family, the parent or the guardians assume the responsibility and the duty of raising and training a child or children about what they must know and learn about life and survival. We already said that. This includes the primary function for human beings, including feeding, walking, talking, dressing, and socializing, and taking care of their physical health and safety as they grow up, such as looking out for danger and threat and how to avoid it. So, parents, family are responsible for teaching their kids, the basic and the primary functions of human beings, including how to feed themselves, how to work, how to talk, how to dress even, and how to socialize, how to make friends, and to take care of their physical health, and safety. All these things are the primary function of parents and family that form a part of mentoring, training, and coaching their children. So all this teaching and training form a part of mentoring, coaching people, a human being, about the fundamental knowledge and skills of life and survival. Basically, is to teach human kids and children about basic survival skills. To illustrate further, for example, if a child or children were born and left alone in the hospital or at home or anywhere with no one around them or someone to teach or talk to them, as long as they are properly fed and kept safe. So this is an example, illustration, and I'm quoting it from a mentor and is a teacher of the Bible. His name is Pastor Chris Oyakhilome, whom I listen to his teaching, and is very inspiring teacher. He illustrated and he said, if a child, for example, is born and left in the hospital or left at home with no one talking to them or teaching them anything, but they are only fed and kept safe. There is, as long as there is no danger or threat is happening there, but they are just kept there, the likelihood or the probability that what will happen is that they will grow up and become domiciled without learning anything or knowing that they are a human being. Exactly. Because when a child is born, they do not know anything. A child, the only thing that a child knows when they are born to this world is to cry for milk, and that's it. And when they got the milk, that's it. As long as they're, it's got the milk, and it's got the love of the mother around, then that's it. They are satisfied. And imagine that is the limit that they can have. No one, then they are given milk, but no one is talking to them. No one is teaching them anything. So this is the worst scenario that will happen is they will not be able to learn how to talk. They will not be able to learn how to walk. They will not be able to learn how to feed themselves even. They will not be able to learn a lot of things, to dress even, and so forth. They will become domicile. Because human beings, the tendency is that we learn everything, as we grow up from the people around us, beginning with the family and then other people that are surrounding us. And basically, they have to teach us, in order to learn all these things. Without teaching, without training, without mentoring, without coaching, we could not learn anything. We could just be an object. Just sitting down there. But because we are human beings, we are trained, we are taught the basic and the primary function of human being that will distinguish us from the rest of the species. And that is the objective and the purpose of mentoring and coaching and training, obviously. So that's how important and significant teaching and training in life is, which is a part of mentoring and coaching process as parents and professionals alike. Therefore, it is highly critical to teach and train people the necessary and essential skills, knowledge, and abilities that will make them unique and exceptional living species on the planet, not just to live and survive, but to thrive. Furthermore, mentoring and coaching can take place as early as possible and practical when a person is very young and is still a child. So the earlier, the kids or the children are engaged in mentoring and coaching process and training process, the better. Because the more delays happened, the likelihood that the kids will not be able to pick up the necessary skills early enough. So as we could see around the world, that children vary very much. There's some kids that actually could pick up some important skills when they're still young, as young as 1 year old or 2 year old or 3 year old. But there's some kids that actually wait until late, very late, and some even is very difficult later in life. So in my opinion, I think it's something to do with mentoring and coaching process by parents or by professional. So the earlier we engage children or people in mentoring and coaching process, the better the quicker they will catch up on the pick up the necessary skills they need to learn in order to survive, to thrive, and to succeed in life. Therefore, relatives, family, and parent and Syrian adults at home can begin to train and teach children survival and life skills, the wisdom and the knowledge that will help them succeed and prosper in life. Okay, so that is in regard to informal mentoring and coaching process that's happened within the family context, within parents and relatives context. Now, the formal mentoring and coaching process. Formal mentoring and coaching process involves people and professionals with specific knowledge, expertise, and qualification in certain professions and vocations who are responsible for teaching and training people some specific knowledge, skills, and experience that will help them in both personal and professional life. So formal mentoring and coaching process is opposite to informal, because informal happen automatically where children are engaged in mentoring and coaching process by their parents, because this is their duty and their responsibility. Where formal, it involves people with professionals and specific knowledge and expertise and qualification in certain area, who are responsible for training and teaching people, or transferring their knowledge, their experience, and their skills in order to help them succeed in personal and professional life. Formal mentoring and coaching process happen in various societal settings, this including education and religious institution, workplace, sports fields, and social association and clubs. So this is where formal mentoring and coaching happen. It's happened in schools, in universities, in colleges. It happened in religious organization. It happened in workplace, in business context. It happens in sports and recreation places. It happened in social and political association and clubs. So mentoring and coaching can happen in school, like I said, in school, college, and university classes between teachers and lecturers and students. In this context, in education institution setting, teachers and lecturers are compensated by the state or the government, in the case of public education, by parents or students themselves in case of private education. So formal mentoring and coaching process takes a form of compensation or voluntary basis. When professionals are involved in mentoring and coaching activities, they are hired by people who are being mentored or being trained, So this is a professional job where people are trained and mentored in order to succeed personal and professional in a particular setting, either in school or in sport or in religious institution, or even in political and social association. So in education institution, for example, we all know that actually There is a public education, there is a private education. Public education, often the government or the state is responsible for compensating those who work in public education. Where there is private education, teachers and lecturers are compensated, obviously by parents or through a private process. Where in religious institutions, for example, in churches, in temples, clergies, some of them are compensated by the religious institution themselves, where some of them, they perform it mentorally. But the most important thing is that mentoring and coaching happen in those places, in religious institution and education institution. Mentoring and coaching in religious institutions, priests, clergies, and church ministers are either compensated or rewarded, or are voluntarily hired to preach and teach the church congregation, the disciple, by the religious and the church institution. This is just the repetition of what I've just said. In this mentoring and coaching, the education in the education environment, mentoring and coaching is guided and regulated by the education and teaching policies and procedures. We also mentioned that mentoring and coaching can happen in a sport field between coaches and managers and players and athletes. For example, when an individual wants to become a professional sports person or a competitive athlete, they must consistently be trained and be coached to gain the necessary fitness and talents, and skills and abilities that will help them compete effectively in any sport competition and probably win the prize or an award. So in a sport field or any recreation activities, mentoring and coaching happens. They are compensated by the sport institution or any sport organization or any recreation organization. Any person who wants to become a professional athlete, wants to become a competitive sport man or woman, they must be engaged in a proper and the right mentoring and coaching in order to gain the necessary talents, to develop the necessary talents and the critical skills and abilities that will help them compete effectively in any sport competition, that will help them win that competition and probably win the prize or the award. And we all aware of so many sport competition. We have soccer, basketball, tennis, wrestling, and marathon, and all these things. All these athletes, they must be coached, they must be trained by professional coaches and managers, and they are compensated, they are hired, they get paid by a lot of money. So this is formal mentoring and coaching process, which is different than informal one. Mentoring and coaching process also happen in workplace between managers, employees, or supervisors and junior employees and apprentices. For example, when a person starts a new job or a career, they must be trained and be mentored to gain and learn the necessary and practical skills and experience required in the job. So we've said mentoring and coaching happen in various settings. In religious institutions, in a sport field, in education institutions, and in workplace, in the place of employment. When a person starts a new job who does not have experience, they must undergo mentoring and training process in order to gain the necessary skills and the experience that will help them be confident and competent enough to be able to do that job. So, however, most of the time, mentoring and training is an essential part of recruitment and employment and career development. So there is a mentoring and coaching process where a less experienced employee is being trained to gain the necessary skills and experience. And there is a mentoring and training that is a part of recruitment and selection and career development process. So all these things they happen in order to help the organization succeed and help improve the performance of employees, which eventually will help in improve organization performance. Therefore, the mentoring and the training program is usually paid or borne by the sponsoring business organization. And the same thing applies to, so in a workplace, for example, people that perform the training or the mentoring, they are the organization that paid for the mentoring and coaching process, not the employee or the someone who is being mentored because it's something that is going to benefit the organization, even though it's going to benefit the employee themselves, but the beneficiaries will eventually be the organization as long as the person remains employed with the organization. We also mentioned that mentoring happened in social and political association affiliation clubs between leaders and senior members and junior members and associates. So, for example, when people would like to join or affiliate with any social or political organization or club or professional association, people must be trained and be discipled to develop the critical leadership qualities and skills that will earn them the respect and the admiration of the association or club membership, and eventually leadership position if they are interested in the future. So mentoring happen in so many settings. This is an example where we have so many social association, community association, social club, political association, and political organization. When a person would like to join this organization or this association, they must also be mentored, they must be coached, they might be trained and be discipled, because this association, professional association, they have some policies, they have some guidelines, they have some standards that a person must adhere to, or must apply in their life, in order to gain or to meet those standards, or to live up to those standards and procedures and policies. You needed to be trained, to be mentored by senior members, by senior leaders, to develop the necessary leadership qualities that will help you, or will earn you the membership and respect and the admiration of the club or the association as well. And perhaps eventually, that will help you gain the leadership position if you applied or interested in the future in order to lead a certain association or a professional club. So this is where another area where mentoring and coaching happen. So mentoring, coaching process is an essential part of life, where it's where people are being trained and discipled and guided in order to gain and learn some critical skills that will help them succeed and progress in certain aspect of life. Mentoring and coaching can occur in conference halls and lobbies, meeting rooms and auditorium, between professional mentors and coaches and motivational speakers, and those who are eager to learn anything about success and progress in life. So there is this formal mentoring that happens, where professional speakers, and motivational speakers, they organize some conferences, they organize some forum where people are invited into a large auditorium, meeting room, and a large hall, to be trained and to be coached about the principles of success and progress in life. So this is another form of mentoring, and it's happening a lot. And these are professional mentors and motivational speakers who have trained 1,000 and thousands of people in life who went to be successful. So they have taken in mentoring as a profession to help a lot of people succeed in life. So this is another area where mentoring happen. Mentoring and coaching also can happen online, so through the internet and social media networks, especially with the rise and the evolution of advanced technology. Many people have found it free, easy, and flexible to learn anything they must know and understand about every aspect of life without the need for a personal or professional mentor and a coach. So we talk about professional mentors and motivational speakers who organize large meetings and conferences in large auditorium and meeting hall, where thousands of people come and they listen to them speak about the principles of success and progress in life. People nowadays also, people can be mentored online, and they can be trained online, freely by a lot of people who have made it easy and free and flexible to access to their live videos, mentoring and coaching people, how to succeed and how to prosper and how to progress in life in various settings, in schools, for example, in religious institution, in workplaces, in sport, and so forth, in so many areas. People have made a lot of videos available online. You could actually get into the internet and type in any subject, any topic of your interest, and find somebody who is talking about it, training people and teaching people about that subject. And you could learn a great deal of information and ideas and skills and knowledge from those videos. So it has become easier, but it is not as much as when you are with face-to-face mentor, or in a classroom or in a conference room with a mentor. In a classroom, for example, in school or university, or in a sport field with a coach or a manager, or in religious institution with a priest or a clergy, or in the workplace with your manager or supervisor. That is totally different, but this is online. And of course, they're different depending on many factors, and also depending on advantage and disadvantage. There is obviously going to be disparities between the two, between face-to-face mentoring and coaching and virtual mentoring and coaching that happen online and through the internet and social media network. Yes, there is an exception and difference between being mentored and trained virtually online through the internet and having a mentor face-to-face or in one place, depending on many factors and reasons, as well as advantage and disadvantage. Due to the nature of the formal mentoring coaching, there is a high degree of expectation from people who are being mentored and trained. So when mentoring and coaching happen, usually people expect positive things, to happen, because mentoring and coaching process, the purpose and the objective of mentoring and coaching is always a positive and a good outcome. So there is a high expectation from people who are being engaged in mentoring and coaching process. For example, religious leaders, teachers, managers, coaches, and leaders of various organizations and associations are perceived to be role models who must exhibit high level of knowledge, wisdom, ethical responsibility, and good moral values and principles. Why? This is due to the fact that formal mentoring and coaching often take on a paid or a voluntary professional status. So this is in regard to the formal mentoring. People who are engaged in mentoring and coaching process, they expect to benefit, from the mentoring and coaching process, because they usually pay for mentoring and coaching activity, whether it is in the school setting or religious setting, a sport setting, or workplace. People usually expect a positive outcome, and they expect coach, leaders, managers, religious leaders to be role model, to exhibit high level of knowledge, wisdom, ethical responsibility, and good moral values and principles. They also expect that mentors must display and exude some excellent, confident, competent to be able to effectively and successfully mentor and train their subordinate and junior trainee and apprentice. Of course, there is no question about that. People usually expect mentors and coaches to display and exhibit high degree of excellence, confident, and competent, to know what the subject or their area of expertise very well, in order to be able to train and mentor their subordinate and their junior and less experienced staff. Otherwise, their mentoring and coaching activity could be undermined, and it could be undervalued, and that could project a negative image where mentoring and coaching process or activity could be put at risk, or it could be put into hold. It could not progress. For instance, effective mentoring and coaching relationship require mentors' insight and understanding of prodigy through diligent observation, honest conversation, careful listening, and providing a genuine and constructive feedback. For example, mentoring and coaching relationship between mentor and mentoree required as people who are mentoring and mentors insight and understanding of mentoree or prodigy, the person who is being mentored. They have to understand the people who are being engaged in mentoring activity very well. This can occur through diligent observation. The mentors must observe their mentoree diligently, and to communicate with them honestly, and to listen carefully to their consent, and provide a genuine and constructive feedback. And obviously this is an effective mentoring and coaching process, because a genuine interaction between a mentor and a mentoree is required in order for a mentorship to succeed and to produce a positive outcome. So people must choose their mentors and coaches carefully and diligently in order to, if you wanted to benefit from a mentoring and coaching activity or process, you have a choice, because at the end of the day, you are the one that going to benefit. And so people have a choice to choose the best and the most highly qualified mentors and coach from whom they could learn a great deals of knowledge, wisdom, skills, and experience that will shape and influence their thinking, philosophy, and ideology in a positive way. Yes, people must have a choice to choose the best and the most highly qualified mentors and coach from whom they could learn a great deals of knowledge, wisdom, skills, and experience that will shape and influence their thinking and philosophy and ideology in a positive way. Because mentoring, a mentor or a coach can influence a person to a large degree, you know, because some of mentors can become role model, the people that we look up to, people that we could emulate, and um, and follow their example. So that's why we have to choose, between a person whom we can emulate and the person that we will not be able to emulate based on we um, what we have observed. Yeah. So mentors can be able to influence someone's philosophy, the way you behave, and they can influence your ideology, the way you think, either in a positive way or a negative way. So you have to choose the person who is going to influence you, philosophy, your ideology in a positive way. So formal mentoring and coaching process is an organized, planned, and a strategized learning process that requires time, effort, and resources. As referred to previously, that a process can be performed professionally on either paid or a voluntary basis. So formal mentoring and coaching process, we can conclude that is an organized, planned, and a strategized learning process that must require some time. It requires effort. People must work hard, and resources. It can be financial resources, physical resources, and human resources as well. So that basically it is. Okay, what is the objective and mentoring and coaching process? So from this huge discussion, we can draw up some objective. Mentoring and coaching is usually associated with both personal and professional success and outcomes, such as high level of self-esteem, confident, competent success, fulfillment, and enhanced creativity, and even financial prosperity and happiness. Johnson and Rightly. So the purpose and the objective of mentoring and coaching process, as we explained before, that it is to prepare someone for a greater future, for a successful life, whether it's in informal or formal, that is informal, performed by parents and family, or formal by professional mentors and coaches. The objective and the purpose, it is to help the person succeed personally and professionally, in terms of helping the person gain some self-esteem, high self-esteem, have some confidence and competent at work, in life in general, have some fulfillment, enhance creativity in sport or any other recreation activity, such as social and political club, or even in workplace, or even in religious institution. The purpose of mentoring and training is to help a junior and less experienced people gain insight, wisdom, qualification, competent in carrying out certain tasks and responsibility in certain career, vocation, and profession. Basically, if you're someone in the workplace, the objective is to help the person who is less experienced and a junior, you know, have some wisdom, qualification, competence, and confidence in carrying out responsibility and the task of the job uh, professionally. It is also to help people succeed and achieve their personal and professional goals and aspirations. Sometimes people are discouraged, demotivated. So when they are engaged in mentoring and coaching activity, they could be inspired, they could be educated in how they can achieve their goals and aspiration, both professionally and personally. So that is another objective of mentoring. Mentoring, okay. Mentoring coaching can happen anytime, anywhere. There is a need to train and teach a person something they must know and learn. So mentoring and coaching is required. Whenever you feel a person feels there is insufficiency in person's life, they could do some self-assessment to find out what is that actually they needed to know or they needed to learn. What is actually that is they lack, the knowledge that they lack, and look out for a mentoring, for a mentor that will mentor them and train them in a specific area, where they could overcome a certain challenge or solve a problem that they are facing, and we will see later on. For example, when someone lacks certain knowledge, skills, experience in specific aspect of life and area, there is an urgent need and a desire for mentoring. So mentoring and coaching is required when people are facing challenges or problems that require some counseling, guidance, and help navigating through life socially, economically, and politically. People face a lot of challenges, a lot of problems, and when a person find themselves in predicament, they could actually embark in mentoring and coaching coaching process where they could be counseled, could be guided and disciple, and help them navigate through life, socially, economically, and politically. So that's another objective and purpose of mentoring. So these are the areas or some aspect of life that require some mentoring and coaching. Family, parenting, and relationship. People, assume that actually we know everything, but believe me, trust me, people need some mentoring and coaching in regard to family, parenting, and relationship. So if you are a person who is experiencing some problems in parenting and family and relationship, you could actually seek some mentor, some coach that will help you in that area. It's an interesting area, and it's a good reason actually to engage in a mentoring and coaching process to help you, with your family, parenting, and relationship. Career employment, that's another area people require mentoring and coaching. Business and entrepreneurship, if you wanted to start a business, operate a business, manage a business, have a great idea and you don't know how to start, you could embark in mentoring and coaching process where you could be actually trained and to be mentored in how to operate, manage, and or even start, or how even to incentivize, how to fund your business. All these ideas, you can be helped through mentoring and coaching process. Schools and education, people must, can be mentored, can be trained in order to pursue education, to complete school. They can be encouraged, So, and there's so many areas that where people seek mentoring and coaching. So mentoring and coaching is a necessary as long as there is a problem to be solved, a challenge to be overcome, or a weakness, a weakness to be addressed in order to help the person succeed and progress in life. So through proper mentoring and coaching process, one can be trained, guided to obtain the motivation and the inspiration and the discipline necessary to achieve both professional and personal goals and aspirations. Mentoring and coaching is necessary when people become old and mature, and they must transfer and pass on their knowledge, wisdom, and experience gained throughout the years to a young generation or people in need to benefit from it. So mentoring will become necessary, especially when people become old. They feel that actually they're going to die, and they have this knowledge, they have this wisdom, they have this experience stored in their life. But how could they transfer it to other people? How could they help other people with all this knowledge, unless they engage in mentoring and coaching process to help younger generation, people who may need their knowledge, That is another objective of mentoring and coaching process, because knowledge, experience, talent, skill is the only thing that actually people could not inherit or could not, leave it to their family, unless in a form of written literature or books. Okay, but an older person, a mature person, can help people with their knowledge, experience, and skills through that they have gained throughout their life through the mentoring and coaching process. So, okay. So, furthermore, there are some social problems that do not. Okay, this is crazy. Oh my God. So there are some social problems that do not only affect individual and their family, but the negative impact can be reflected in the community and society at large. So mentoring and coaching process is also required to help people overcome some weaknesses, some addiction, some social problems that are in society. These problems, our social problems, do not affect individual or their family, but the negative impact can be reflected in the community. Therefore, engaging people in the mentoring and coaching process as early as possible can help minimize the negative impact this social problem on the person and on the society, especially when these people are still young. And so these social problems include gambling addiction, smoking addiction, alcohol and drugs addiction, family domestic violence, and teenager pregnancies. And there are so many social problems that people need mentoring and guidance and coaching, where people need some help in order to help them overcome this addiction or these weaknesses that do not only affect themselves and their family, but it can impact on the community and on the society, because when somebody who is addicted to gambling, it's a social problem, and it's usually not one person, it's many people, and we have many places where gambling is practiced, and there is financial constraints on families. There is smoking addiction. We all know that actually smoking is a problem, but because there is nothing that can be done to help people. So people could be guided, can be mentored, could be advised through a proper mentoring and coaching process in order to quit smoking, because eventually it could impact their health. Alcohol and drugs addiction, that's another area where people could be helped, especially young people. Family domestic violence, that is, we all know, and the statistics are staggering. Teenager pregnancy, that is another area. We have a lot of teenagers that are struggling now, where they could practice unprotected sexual activity, and they got pregnant, and that it could impact the family and the community. So when this problem are facing individual, they could be engaged in mentoring. They could be engaged in an organized, planned mentoring and coaching process, both young and adult, where they can be educated, guided, and counseled to overcome some personal weaknesses and failures in life, including this social problem. Okay, I think we've come to an end. As I said, topics and subjects that require mentoring and coaching, we already touched on that. School education and academic success, people need mentoring in that area. Career, employment, vocational training and development, people require mentoring. Financial literacy, management responsibility, and wealth creation, people require mentoring in that area, especially in order to take care of their financial affairs, and people also need mentoring and coaching in health and fitness and safety. That is a very important area. Spirituality and morality, people need mentoring, coaching spiritually and morally, in order to live good moral life. People need mentoring, especially religious institutions are very good at training and mentoring people spiritually and morally. Friendship, social association, and affiliation. There is that, how to make friendship, how to to establish, build, develop, and maintain social relationship. Personal and professional development, that's another area, where people require mentoring, and family, parenting, and marital relationship. We already mentioned that. Business and entrepreneurship, people require mentoring and coaching in that. Another interest is sport and recreation activities. We already mentioned that, including music, film, and art. People require those things. And internet and social media network. Nowadays, people must be mentored and be trained in order to use how to use social media, internet and social media wisely, responsibly, especially young people nowadays. So these are areas that require some mentoring and coaching activity. Okay, so I think we've come to an end. Yes, basically, what I have here is I'm going to show it. It's I don't know if you can see it. If you can't see it, okay. I don't know. Okay. So what I have here is just the nature of mentoring and coaching. The nature of mentoring and coaching relationship. We have said that in a family home, you have parents, father and a mother and a husband, uncle, aunt, and grandparents. And that is a mentor and a coach. So a coach and a mentor can be a parents and a father and a mother and a husband and an uncle and auntie. So who is a prodigy? Prodigy is a mentee, someone who is being mentored. This includes children, sons, daughters, wife, nephew, or niece. Okay, the nature of relationship or setting is school, university, colleges. The mentor is teacher, professor, a lecturer, or a lecturer. And mentee are students and pupil, obviously. The nature of mentorship or setting, employment, workplace, or business. You have a mentor or a coach is employer, manager, supervisor, and a mentee are employees, workers, and apprentices. And mentorship or setting, the nature of mentorship setting, religious organization or church. A mentor here is priest, church minister, or a pastor. The protege are disciples, laymen, or congregation. Nature of mentorship or setting is sport field. The mentor or a coach is manager or a coach. The mentees are players and athletes. The nature of mentorship or setting is sports, social, political clubs and association. The mentor and a coach is a leader, and mentee are members or associates. Thank you guys for listening. I think we have come to an end, and I do not want you to get bored from this last discussion, this long discussion, but I've tried my best to complete it. This is basically part 1, and the part 2 is gonna come in a few weeks. Thank you very much. I hope you guys been inspired, educated, and encouraged. Yeah. So what we're doing here, we're in a process of making the world a better place. And in making the world a better place, mentoring and coaching form a part of, of a successful and a prosperous life. If people are being engaged in mentoring and coaching activity, their life could be transformed in a positive way. And that is my belief, that is my my philosophy. So I hope you are going to find this topic, mentoring and coaching, very interesting, very inspiring, and that is going to ignite some conversation around the importance and significance of mentoring and coaching people in life, in every setting, in every aspect of life, including education, religious institutions, sports, workplace, and political, social, club, and professional association. Thank you. Bye.